Yo, so Vlad is a member of our tribe and he's just submitted a pretty awesome question asking about intermittent fasting and why it's so difficult. If you don't already know, fasting, especially if you're doing like productivity work, is one of the most insane tactics for like, focused, deep work. And if you're grinding in the gym, fasted, especially as a guy, um, you just become some sort of animal. So Vlad is interested in fasting and he's asking why it's so difficult. I'll give you a quick rundown of his question. I find intermittent fasting very difficult to do without drinking black coffee, especially in the morning. For context, I'm on the carnivore diet, which haven't had any sugar or carbs for the past 4 days. I've overcome the sugar withdrawal, but I'm not sure whether I've adapted to carnivore diet fully. Perhaps I'm still adapting in some way. I don't have a structured eating pattern. I eat a meal when I'm hungry, which is usually 2 to 3 times a day. Sometimes I may skip breakfast, sometimes lunch, sometimes dinner. No strong pattern this way. This way of eating is part of my program. I think that's the first thing I wanted to talk about with Vlad. You're the way you're wording it is as if you're stuck in this place. You're wording it in a way that like this is the way I am. You're using like fixed mindset tactics, which is like something we need to get out of the way first. It's as if you're stuck this way and you're wording it that way. You don't anyone, of course, you've been eating breakfast for 18 years, bro. Like you've been eating breakfast for 18 years. Of course, it's part of your program, but how many things have you changed in your program? How many bad habits have you got out of the way so far? I know you personally, and you've destroyed so many of these bad habits that you thought were part of your program, and just like they're gone now. See ya. So if you can keep doing that and apply that mindset to this, that's a good start. I do have a list of things. Yeah, it's going to be hard. You've been eating breakfast for 18 years. Um, Just you do have to kind of embrace the suck. I've got a list of 5 points I want to go through with you, Vlad. First of all, is like progressively deloading. So you mentioned Andrew Huberman eats breakfast as well. Um, Something about just trying to eat a little bit. I would start with that. I would start with that for sure. It's like in the gym, you slowly add on weight if you want to get bigger. It's like if you're quitting smoking, you slowly have less and less smokes if you want to stop smoking. So you have to like work your way down the ladder, if that makes sense. Make the meal portions smaller and smaller each morning. The second thing, before you go to bed, try eat less. If you eat way too much, I mean, I wouldn't actually say that. I would say definitely eat a lot before you go to bed so you're full for the next day, but don't eat as soon as you go to bed or just before because you're still digesting in your sleep. When you wake up, you're going to be more hungry if you eat just before bed, and make sure it's a clean meal because otherwise you're going to get all that like gut microbiome stuff that's just going to induce more hunger and ghrelin throughout the day. Exactly. Eat earlier before bed. There's another tactic there. If you eat at 5 p.m., you're only going to have to fast to 11 to get an 18-hour fast, bro. Like that's wild. If you push your eating time back to like 8 p.m., you're gonna have to wait till 2 p.m. in the fucking afternoon to, pardon my French, but that's a long time. You're gonna have to wait till 2 p.m. in the afternoon to complete your fast. It's wild. Um, Next point, coffee. I already think you're not having sugar, so that's perfect. But try not to add any honey or milk to your coffee. Once you like consume the smallest amount of calories in the morning, your body starts getting ready to eat. So it's like, oh, hey, I'm hungry, bro. Like we've had a little bit of food. Can we have a little bit more? Can we have a little bit more? If that makes sense, try to avoid calories at all cost for as long as you can. You mentioned you're on carnivore ketosis. Not having carbs, you're going to start going into ketosis using ketones and fat for fuel. That takes about 3 to 4 days, and you did mention you started about 4 days ago, so you're probably just going to be getting over those energy dips about now. Um, so keep doing what you're doing, stay strong with it, just be a bit more consistent. At least try 2 weeks. If you're still feeling these effects, like I wouldn't continue. If you're still feeling low energy, I wouldn't continue, but at least give it 2 weeks. Like if you're going to try something, try it properly. Like we do it in the tribe. And last thing, I think this was a tip Alex Hormozy said. Patience. You don't want to be thinking about food for the whole morning. Like if you're going to be patient, It's not about just waiting it out. It's not about thinking about it and pushing it off. Patience is just finding something else to do in the meantime, whether that be like heaps of computer work, deep work, focus. Make sure your morning routine is completely planned until lunchtime. Like you don't have time to eat until lunchtime. Does that make sense? I'm asking a camera, but that's all right. I think that is all we've gone over. I hope that helps you. Anyone else that may be watching this video, I hope that helps you as well. Those 5 tips: earlier before bed, eat earlier before bed, progressively deload, start scaling your breakfast down. It's going to be hard. You've been eating breakfast for 18 years. You're probably going through ketosis at the moment. There's a lot of factors here, Vlad. And coffee. Just try not to have any calories before bed. I mean, in the morning. Trying to have no calories in the morning. Pretty sure that's it. Awesome. If you got any more questions, just submit them under this video. If you're watching this elsewhere, this is a post from one of our members in Polarized Tribe. If you want some advice from a qualified personal trainer and someone who's been on self-improvement for the last 5 years and have been in a community with a group of guys who are on self-improvement and have been for the last 5 years, you know the place to go. Cheers for that question, Val. Very good question.